What's shaking, Chewy Nation? ChewbaccaLemma here, back with another Madden 19 Ultimate Team video. We've been gone for a little bit. I want to thank you guys so much for the support as we were in Houston, so that's why there's been no videos. That was my last video. The Texans won 5 straight. They look so good. Will Fuller going down, unfortunate, but it was a heck of a game. Really fun to watch. It was really just a fun game. So thank you guys for all the well wishes as we were visiting Houston and having a good time for a few days. So that was pretty awesome. But we're back, and I'm trying to catch up. But I thought, I've been thinking about doing this. I get a lot of questions about solo battles, and even when I'm streaming, people are like, stream solo battles. I'm like, who wants to watch that? But people like to see it because I've been doing really well. I didn't play last week, obviously. The week before, I didn't play because I missed the cutoff. But the week before that, okay, I was 5th. I finished 5th, and I'm usually top 10, top 25, somewhere in there every week. So I'm like, okay, I made videos on it, but why don't I show you a complete breakdown of everything? So I'm going to show you a full game. So it's going to be a long video, which you can already tell it is a long video. It's a long video, but it's a complete game plan, offense, defense, everything you want to know to be able to get a top score. And a disclaimer, I have a 92 overall team, 91-ish, borderline 90. It's 92 now, but it's just got 92. So I got a very good team, and it definitely helps. I'll talk about that in the video. Good team definitely makes it easier, but let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so you see we 92 overall team, like I said, and over 25 easily on all 3 of those games, even giving up some points. So we're looking really good at a top 10 start to solo battles. So I feel very, very good. But at the top of this video, I want to go ahead and tell you guys everything I'm going to talk about in this video on how to get the highest score. Number 1, I would recommend focusing on completions. Completions are really important. I would try to get those as best as you can. Try to get 30 plus. Some people say 40. I don't know if there's a difference between 30 and 40. I say strive for 30. Number 2, rushing touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns are very important. Rushing yards, maybe not so much. I'm not so sure about that. I usually just try to get 100. That's usually good for me, but really rushing touchdowns. After that, a lot of speculation on what really matters. First downs, I usually try to get those. You'll notice that in this video. And then something that is not really speculation, that user score. So hit sticks, sacks, jukes, spins, anything that says user score, playmaker. As you see, I'll always kick it short trying to get hit sticks, and you'll also see that I never hit it. Like hardly ever. I can't hit the CPU. I'm so bad at it. So if you're better at it, well done. But that is how to get the highest score. And then on defense, mid blitz 100%. I am a mid blitz believer. Some people don't like it. If you don't have a great team, this is where maybe you run something different, or run, make your team good enough to run mid blitz. Really, the only thing you need is 90 man with your secondary players. Ideally, I don't even think I have it on all my guys. Ideally, on everybody in coverage, just 3 corners and 2 safeties. That is what you want. Is they're gonna play man about as best as you can, play man about, not 100%, but 90 is what you want. So there's a lot of cheap corners that you can get to 90. You could even run like AJ Boye. That if you really, want something cheap, put lockdown on them, and you could definitely get it with a lot of players for decently cheap. You see me miss a screen here. I do like playing as the linebacker. I have Shazier. If you have 95 Shazier, it also makes your life a lot easier. That's just by playing, of course, but if you have Shazier, I like using him because it messes with the CPU logic. When they go to pass, at least like right at the beginning, it takes them like a few seconds before they realize where you're at. So they'll throw it right at you. It's like the CPU, if you can guess where the ball's going, like if it's a slant, and you go right towards it, and they'll throw it. They'll just think it's open. They just, for whatever reason, they just don't realize like where you're at. And then on offense, I want to talk about this real quick. We come out in Wildcat, and we go ahead and run the package wide receiver at quarterback, just using the right stick. We're in the Vikings playbook, and we go ahead and get a touchdown, 91 yards. Now, this only works, it works the best against 3-4. So when you're facing teams that run a 3-4, you're going to find this a lot easier. You can still make it work against bad teams. It's going to work a lot better anyway in general. Against good teams, unless they're in a 3-4 front and you get, that good blocking, which a lot of times you will against a 3-4 front, then you're going to struggle. So I would recommend and I will tell you, I don't run Wildcat that much anymore. I don't even think you need to run Vikings playbook anymore because I don't believe rushing yards really matter. So I would not worry about it. Just go right to passing. Don't even worry about your rushing yards. I try to get 100 still, even if I'm facing a tough opponent. I'll run tosses and stuff just to, get the yardage up and try to get 100. But outside of that, I don't really focus on it. I'll run that first play, that Wildcat at the beginning. I should have lurked that definitely right there. But I'll run that, and then I'm done. I'm pretty much done. I try to get the 100. I'll get 10 yards later. But I got 91 now, so I'm happy with that. And then we go ahead and move on to the rest of our scheme, our offense and defense. Here, defense obviously is just mid blitz. You will notice that I like to line my guys up a little bit, especially like we almost broke that. In run situations, I like to put my safeties kind of, obviously in the box, kind of line them up in the middle. They just play the run pretty well there. Mid blitz is kind of known also for how great it is against the run. That's what's great about it. I love it because you're not going to give up those big runs hardly ever. And a lot of times you're just going to blow them up as well, as it's not really great. I'm not really showing it off too well right now because they've got a couple good runs there on me. But, even a couple yards, I'm not really happy with that. And they also keep the clock going. So I'm not really happy with the way this possession's going so far. But still, mid blitz, you see me kind of line them up. Again, user, not a great user there because once, thankfully, I clicked on and knocked it away. Well, if they don't throw it right away, it's like then they realize where you're at. I don't know how to explain it except it's like 2 seconds. And the CPU has no idea where you're at if you're blitzing. They just act like you don't even there. But if they don't throw it right away, they'll know you're there. So it's really funky. I hope I explained that well. That was a heck of a play right there on 3rd and 8 by the Honey Badger, Houston Texan. Let's go. And we forced the punt. And we're in a pretty good spot right now. This is about as good as start as we could hope for. Up 7-0. We got our rushing yards pretty much done. We'll call a fair catch here. So we got 95 yards to go. And now it's completions, first downs. Really, a lot of people would just say focus on those completions. I usually just try to get first downs and go out of bounds. And then our user score, of course, you cannot forget about the user score. So you see them cover the running back there. So I go ahead and just hit the tight end, which is not that big a deal. But if we can get trucks, jukes, spins, all that. I usually just go for jukes because I feel like you can always juke the CPU, but spins as well are fine. Go ahead and hit them. I always run it to the short side of the field. I get this question a lot. Like, shouldn't you run it to the wide side of the field? No. When they play man coverage will be so much better if you're running it to the wide side of the field. They play it way better. The short side of the field, if they're in man, you can pretty much throw it every single time. If they're playing hard flats, you just can't throw it. Don't throw it if they're playing hard flats. It's not a good idea. But if they're in man coverage, which a lot of times they're run, you can hit that every single time and still pick up your 10 yards. If you're facing a bad team with a bad linebacker out there, you actually can run for a touchdown because you can just run around them with Ricky or juke them out and go for 6. Same with man. So you see them, they just can't get out there at all. It's just super easy when you're in this. You're going to the short side of the field. Ricky Williams just destroying them. Man coverage just getting absolutely destroyed. What you'll also notice is I always wait until 20 seconds to snap the ball when I go out of bounds because Excel clock is running until the 2 minutes left in the second and then the fourth quarter. So if Excel clock is on, then you're gonna wait. So say I call a play like right now when it pop up. I click it right now, 5 seconds would just come off the clock because it would go down to 20. I don't want to waste 5 seconds. If I just wait, which it does make the solos take a little bit longer, then at least that 5 seconds I save. Also, obviously, if the Excel clock is on, no huddle if you get tackled in bounds. That's pretty straightforward. I didn't see anybody open. There was one in the middle, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a shot because I'm feeling now at this point, I need to score. I only have 7 points. I'm striving to 50. Which, I didn't talk about this at the beginning. We'll go ahead and score here. That was a dot, too, by Breeze. I didn't talk about this at the beginning, but 50 points is the highest, the amount you can get. If you notice at the end, you'll get a score bonus, and you get 500 at 50, and then 40 points gives you 400 and such. 10 points for every point, which is something we very much know. That's straightforward. But if you think about it, you get 40 points, that's 400. 500 is 50 points is 500. That's a difference of 100 points. Your score is 25,000 on it. 100 points isn't much. Now, it could be the difference between a place or two. I'm not saying it's not important, but on the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's that important. The reason why people focus on it so much is because it's something 100% we know matters, and we can measure it because 50 points is that we know there's no we don't know what the formula is necessarily behind EA, what they're doing, but we do know the point one. So 50 points, of course, we want to get because we know if we don't get 50, we get less points. That's 100%. As opposed to if we rush for 200 yards or rush for 300, we don't know if that matters. Actually, it probably doesn't matter, really, honestly. I don't think any rushing matters, but it's harder to know. That's got to be a lurk there. Again, those angle routes, you got to lurk those. It's sometimes, I just feel like I'm just off. Sometimes you can lurk the CPU 4 or 5 times in a game, and I get a stupid offsides. EA really needs to fix that. If you know huddle in this game, offsides are so bad. It just happens way too much. It really should never happen, of course, but because it's your guys line up in the neutral zone, and it happens so much when they no huddle. It's just terrible. So hopefully they can fix that, because I get really frustrated when that happens, when offsides happen. There's nothing you can do except just because they're running no huddle. So it's really frustrating, but they got us in a 3rd and 2, and I didn't even realize it was a screen because I'm a scrub, and thankfully they go ahead and throw it into somebody's helmet. One thing I want to say about that play specifically is screens. If you user somebody blitzing like a Shazier, they will always throw the screen. They will never not throw it. So if you notice it's a screen, you can lurk it. If you're ready for it, you can lurk it every time. Just go for it. They won't throw it on target necessarily, but if you just attack it, they're going to throw it. Just click the Y button or triangle on PlayStation, and you can pick it. And now we're looking at a spot here on offense. We got a 14-0 lead. If we score here, we're going to be up 21-0. Or spoilers, it will not be 21-0 because we're not going to kick the extra point. But we score here, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. We do get the ball to start the second half. Again, for getting 50. I usually, if I start with the ball, I want to try to get 21 at half. I want to try to have 28 at half or 4 touchdowns. If they get the ball, I'm happy with 20, 21. So 3 touchdowns and I'll score 4 in the second half. That's basically how I think about it. I gotta get 7 touchdowns total with 1 2-point conversion. So I'm thinking that's basically the idea here. Maybe a mistake right there going out of bounds. I had plenty of open space, and if I want to score again, I probably should try to go down the field a little bit faster. But I'm thinking, I feel pretty good. I need to stack up these completions. Excel clock is off when you go out of bounds in the last 2 minutes. So this is a great time to stack up those completions. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's a mistake. Also, maybe you could also say as a mistake, you haven't seen me go for many jukes or spins or anything like that. And maybe my user score is suffering a little bit because I'm focused so much on getting out of bounds that, as you see, they cover that underneath. So I go ahead and decide not to take that dice roll there, and I go ahead and just hit it. And, of course, I stay in bounds, unfortunately, but I'm still in a pretty good spot here as a minute left. If I score quickly, which we'll see if I can do that. If I score quickly, I can get 2 spot shots at scoring, which we go out of bounds again. 12 completions. A lot of times I try to strive for 20, but we do get the ball to start the second half. So even getting 15-ish or somewhere around there, I'm going to be pretty happy with that, considering I only need 30, and I already have my rushing yards done. So I'm in a really good spot offensively. The only thing I'm not in a good spot in is the fact that I only have 14 points. And not any turnover. I haven't got a single turnover. I haven't got any user anything. So my user score is probably not at a great spot. But my actual offense, I think, is in a fantastic spot. So we'll go ahead and dump it off and just go out of bounds because we'll take that first down. We can get 1 more first down, and we'll get that touchdown. I think we'll go ahead and rush for this one once we get down there. But that's the plan of attack. I think that's a fine idea. Again, some people don't think first downs matter. Some people do. I honestly, kind of, as I keep doing it, and kind of leaning towards it doesn't matter. I think it really is just completions. But I think there could be something to it, so I keep doing it. I'm like, why not? It's easy to get everything else, so might as well just do it. I go ahead and sub in O.J. Howard at wide receiver. Odell's a pretty good blocker. I don't even know who my best blockers on my team are. I probably should figure that out. We go ahead and motion out Neal in the I-form slot. Go run a toss. Easy toss. Nope. Just kidding, because my Odell is defective and got absolutely shedded. We take a timeout. maybe is a mistake because it's nice to have those on defense because the CPU sometimes tries to run the clock out if they get sacked and such. But I think with 2 left, we're still in a good spot. We'll go ahead and run it again. Pretty easy this time. Maybe it's a little bit better to the short side on the toss, but we go ahead and get it. And now we're up 20-0. And I'm thinking, well, I just ran it. I might as well just do it again. This is the 2-point conversion play in the Vikings playbook that I think pretty much everybody says is the play. We go ahead and run it. Motion out kneel. Go ahead and get our 2-point conversion. Super easy. Super easy. Just kidding. Odell misses the block, and I messed up my juke. That's really on me, though, because I could have easily juked him out there, and I just missed. I didn't expect it, and I kind of got thrown off there. So, poor stick work by me. But I did get a user juke, so I got something. We'll go ahead and kick it short, though. 20-0 with 2 timeouts. We still have time to get the ball back. I think we're in a good spot. One thing I didn't do in this game, as you see they break tackles, I finally got a user hit stick, which is nice. But one thing I didn't do in this game, and I really, something that you can definitely do that I didn't, is at the end of halves and at the end of the game, the CPU will throw a Hail Mary. And that's almost a gimme user lurk. So if you get to that point, you really need to try, I would say, as I don't go for a swat here, that's such a mistake. But you should try to score with a few seconds left, where they're in a spot, or have them in a spot where they're going to throw a Hail Mary, because it's a really easy user interception. And what I recommend when they go into Hail Mary, since we're not going to see it in this play, as we get a nice tackle for a loss because they're running a draw for whatever reason, is I run Mid Blitz still against Hail Mary. Don't run man up 3 deep. I feel like you can. It's just harder because there's too many people back there. I just run Mid Blitz, and a lot of times I'll even take my guys that are manned up out there when they're running a Hail Mary. I'll take them. This is a terrible user by me. That's completely covered, and I'm lucky, honestly. I don't get the user sack because it clicked onto Harrison, but that was absolutely terrible. But I just run Mid Blitz, and a lot of times I'll put my corners in like hooks or something, or just put one of them so there's just not as many people deep. So then I just user Shazier. They're always going to throw it up to the the side with the 3, and it's easy to lurk when there's not as many people to compete for the ball. So you're not going to see that in this game because really poor play by me not to give myself a chance there. But that's something to think about. If you can score within the last few seconds of the game or in the last few seconds of the half, if it's like a few seconds left, you can just kick it out of bounds or kick it short if depending on how much time's left, and then you can go ahead and get that user pick. I run Mid Blitz, like I said. I think it pretty much every time will be a user lurk. And because exactly where they're going to throw it. We go ahead, since there's 6 seconds left. That was nice of them to leave me 6 seconds. And we take an easy completion. Might as well completion and first down, because now we could take the shot at the end zone. So I'm thinking I'll just run levels. There's better, probably one-play touchdowns than the Vikings. But I'll run it. I'll go ahead and take a shot here. And you see Jonathan Ogden just get absolutely destroyed. So bad. Jonathan Ogden is terrible for me. I don't know what it is. It's not the all the way powered up. It's just like the 90 overall, whatever it is. Jonathan Ogden with secure pass protector is absolutely terrible. I don't know what's wrong with him. He is defective. He is by far the worst offensive lineman on my team, and it's not even close. He gets beat so much. I feel like his secure pass protector doesn't work. I feel like nothing works. I feel like he's just terrible. He is absolutely terrible. But anyways, going back to action here. We'll go ahead and take a few yards here. And you see it. You see it. You're going to see a complete stat breakdown at the end, and I'll talk more about it. But it is just levels, levels, levels. And, and if you need to run the ball, you could run the tosses and such. But when you see that safety come down like that, a corner, I guess, they're going to be blitzing. So this is like an easy, we'll dump it off. And now, you see how there's no one back? That was a terrible juke by me. But you can a lot of times get touchdowns there if you have a Ricky Williams. So I stay in bounds. Again, no huddle, because if I don't know huddle, I will be in trouble because Excel clock. So we go ahead and get that off. Again, we'll just not dump it off to Ricky. I'm not sure why I didn't. I think I was trying to score quickly there. Again, I'm thinking I got to score, 4 touchdowns. So maybe, a little bit of sense of urgency here if I want to get the highest score possible. So I got to go ahead and unfortunately just throw that away. But we're trying to score quickly, as you can see. And you see we get man coverage there. And I got absolutely destroyed. But Drew Brees and Tyreek Hill breaking a sack there. Breaking a tackle. Drew Brees has 99 throw under pressure, which means Muttleaks did a data search on this, or however that works. Looking at the data, and Madden, 99 means that you will always have it won't affect your pass. So given that Drew Brees has all the throwing things that you need, as you see, we get a juke there, all the thresholds, 80 throw accuracy short, 85 throw accuracy mid, 90 throw accuracy deep. Since he has those, he will always make a perfect throw, even under pressure. How crazy is that? So it's so nice to have a Drew Brees, because he might be the only quarterback that you can say that about. So I definitely spent a lot of training on him, but it's fun. You know, not a lot of people run the Drew Brees card. A lot of people run the Vic, of course, because he's really good. But Drew Brees is fun. But outside of that, we got a pretty good spot here. We did get the 2 there, as you see. Finally, it worked. We need to score 3 more touchdowns plus a 2-point conversion. I have no idea how Kamara got tackled there. Kind of glitchy, very glitchy. But we do make the tackle, and we got a 2nd and 8, 3 touchdowns, 2 minutes to go. A lot of time left. I think we're in a great spot to score 50. Really, it's just let's play good defense. As you see, there was nothing. Thankfully, there is a Jai there. That was wide open in the middle. I didn't expect a run. Didn't really have my best run set up there, but still very good. Oh, yeah, and something else I want to talk about with Mid Blitz. I don't press. I'm worried about those man beating, press beating routes. I just don't press. That should have been a lurk there. I knew what was coming. I just missed it. But thankfully, he didn't get the first. I don't press. I pass commit a lot of times, but that's about it. I don't really worry about that. And then I just try to focus on cover in the middle, because the fact is, usually they only have about 1 route you have to worry about. Sometimes they'll run 3 slants, of course. That's annoying. But you have 1 route. The CPU is silly, and they don't realize your user. And I'm going for a touchdown here right away. I'm going for the touchdown, but no. A lot of times you'll see me streak those guys just because, as you see, I stay in bounds like a ding-dong, because I am at this point thinking I still need to score 3 touchdowns. I have 20 completions. There's really no reason not to try to score quickly, because I only need 10 more completions to get my 30. But then you see that blitz coming in, so now we just got to make 1 defender miss. And you see, it's really frustrating when I watch this back, is just how, like, the guys on the left side, those that weren't able to make the tackle there, also got faked out with my juke. You see him kind of stutter a little bit, and that's just, you wish the programming was a little bit better there. In this case, it worked out really well for me, but a little frustrating just seeing those sorts of plays in general in the game, because this is competitive, so you would hope that wouldn't happen. But 35-0, we do get a nice play there. Again, not worried about scoring quickly, because we already have everything we need. We have almost our completions done. We need 10 more rushing yards. We need maybe 1 or 2 more, rushing touchdowns. Sure. Usually I like to get 2 or 3. 3 is about my maximum. I don't think anything matters after 2, but I usually like to get 3. That's all. Maybe there's more. Maybe I should get 4, 5, 6. I haven't tested that outside of more than 4, but maybe I should be getting more. I usually like to just stop at 3. I think I'm pretty happy with that. But outside of that, I don't really feel like I have to do anything. As you see, JJ makes a beautiful play. JJ's looking good, by the way, guys. He's getting double teamed pretty much every play in the real NFL, and he's looking really good. I wish, we would see a little bit more of Merciless. Sometimes it seems like everybody else disappears, as you see an easy sack here. I was late to click on, but Merciless has been all right. Of course, Clowney Clowney's a beast. It's just we have a great pass rush, as the Texans just have a great pass rush, but sometimes you feel like it kind of disappears, and you're wondering, where's it at? Because JJ, is always getting, he's always getting clipped by the running back, and sometimes double teamed. So everybody else you would think would have a good chance of being one-on-one. So you got to see more Clowney and Merciless and company. But still, as you see, they just lob it up. Finally, you get an interception on 3rd and 20. But yeah, Texas looking good though. Still 5 wins in a row. Haven't really beat anybody that's really good. Beating Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's it's not looking as good. But the Dolphins win and looked pretty good because their offense was so good. But of course, the Will Fuller injury was really unfortunate. But you guys probably aren't Texans fans, so let's keep talking about dumping it off to Ricky Williams. 22 completions, unfortunately staying in bounds. But we are only 8 completions off of 30. Plenty of time. You see them rushing guys. We might as well just juke them out here. We'll take our touchdown because we got 7 completions to go, I think it is at this point. 1 touchdown, assuming we get our 2-point conversion. It was a little bit of a mistake to not already have the 2-point conversion in our pocket. We should have went for 2 the last touchdown. In case we didn't get it, we could go for 2 here and then go for 2 again to get 50. But either way, we still need that 1 2-point conversion to get 50. I just try to get 1. You need 50 points, 7 touchdowns and a 2. That's my idea of Like, that's my thought behind it. And then, of course, try to get these hit sticks, which I'm terrible. I just don't understand how I miss every single time. They're always spinning and juking, and I miss. Maybe you guys are better at it, hopefully. I can't seem to hit them. But yeah, 7 completions, 10 more rushing yards I think we still need. And that's about it. And this game's pretty much it's done. The only thing is we didn't get a whole lot of jukes. Didn't get a whole lot of spins, and user, as you see, they get the false start there. So if you guys have any recommendations on things that you see that I could do better, definitely let me know, because you'll see I'll be top 10, but I feel like I could still improve on little things. And when I watch this back, I'm thinking, oh, I should have juked there. I should have maybe did this there. That's the things that I see, but maybe there's some things that I'm missing. When you watch this tape, I feel like I'm watching film because that's what I'm doing. But when I watch this back, I'm thinking like, man, I should have spun there, or I should have juked there. I should have, I should have done this, or there's mostly it's just user stuff, like user jukes, user sacks. I got to click on better, because when you click on, you get like right here. This has got to be a click on, which I didn't get it. And real quickly, that curl on main coverage is so annoying. Curls, I hate curls more than I hate slants, because they'll run the curl, and a lot of times they just sit there. They won't throw it right away. That time they threw it, but they won't throw it right away, and your man coverage still doesn't play it. Like, how can you just sit there? We get a sack there. Well, how can you just sit there and the man coverage not play those curls? But I feel like curls with these stinking solo battles just destroy my guys. And then when I click on, it takes my guy way out of the play, and that's probably on me, but not a great. But even when I don't click on, it seems like they'll catch it and then they'll run like upfield, and my guy will just like not react. It is the most fluky thing. I do not like it. I would be much happier they just run slants all day than run those stinking curls. Anyways, they get that huge gain, unfortunately. That's like the only good offensive play they've had all day, though, so maybe I shouldn't complain. We still have 2 minutes to score. I was hoping they would throw it to me there. Decide not to, and we'll try to click on and get a sack, but they throw it away. Again, missing opportunities to get those user sacks. There's not much I could do there, but when nothing's open, I feel like when they run that vertical, I always think that's going to get open, but it never does against man coverage. So I got to be a little bit better on my user, and then they just lob it up again. Thank you very much on a 3rd and 20. Is that what the last one was too? They go ahead and give us the ball, and now we just got to go down and score, get a 2, and we're pretty much done if we finish out our completion. So that's basically the goal of this drive. 30 completions by the end, get 100 yards rushing, which we're at 91, get a rushing touchdown, because I think we're at 2 rushing touchdowns, I want to say. Yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns. We got 4 passing. So go ahead and get 6 more completions, rush it in, and we should have a pretty good score. Granted, I will say this. Again, you're seeing no user jukes, not a whole lot of them. You're not seeing a whole lot of, obviously I don't really playmaker. Maybe I should be doing that. User sacks. You didn't really see many in this game. User interceptions, user picks. You only saw 2. The difference between 2 and 5 or 6, which you can get, is pretty big, I feel like, on the scorecard. So on the number that you put out there. So I do think I could be a little bit better in that department. And just sometimes it just doesn't go your way. When you play these solo battles, you feel like nothing. It just seems like the CPU is cheating, because in general they are. I had a game earlier when I had they threw it up, and I was running Tampa 2 because I got caught in a wrong play or whatever. I was in Tampa 2, and they lobbed it up, and it was Ed Reed, and I went to jump, and I jumped up to pick it, and it like went through his hands. It was a terrible throw. It was like they just lobbed it up to. It was like one of those 3rd and 20s where they just throw it up. I go to pick it, and it goes through his hands, and you see a nice juke there. I need to do that more often. It goes through Ed Reed's hands, and they score a touchdown. That's how I won that one game, whatever it was, 50-7, 57-7, whatever it was. And the other game, I gave up a couple field goals, which is just poor playing by myself. There you see an absolute terrible decision, but even though it was a hard flat, you saw I still fit it in there. Short side of the field. That was a terrible decision. Could have easily been picked, but it still wasn't, because that was to the short side of the field. It's just definitely the way to go. You see we go out of bounds there. We have our 30 completions. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm saying, you know what? We're good there. Let's go ahead and just run the ball in. Get our 50. Well, we got to get the 2, but go ahead and get our 100 yards rushing, if that even matters, which again, I'm pretty sure it's just rushing touchdowns, but I don't want to confirm that, because I'll tell you, I'm someone who tries to, I didn't go out of bounds there, of course, either. That was a mistake. But I'm one that am trying to get, some of the highest scores. I want to try to win. So when I'm playing these, I'm doing that. So I'm not really maybe testing as much to see what the difference between 100 rushing yards is and 200. Well, I can tell you the difference between 100 and 200 is not much because I used to do 200 and I haven't noticed any difference now that I'm doing 100. But I haven't tested just purely just saying, no, I'm not going to rush at all until I get down to the 2 and then I'll run it in. But if I had to guess based on my studies, is that I don't think rushing yards matter. I think it's just and you see we go for 2 here. Easy? No, because I messed it up. It was easy 2-point conversions. Absolutely terrible stick work by me. I saw he break the tackle way too late, and I tried to juke, and it was terrible. I think I might have been a little tired, too. It was a terrible decision with Ricky there. Ricky was maybe a little exhausted. I'm not sure. But we missed a hit stick again because that's the story of this game. But that's my take on it. If you have any hot takes on the topic, definitely let me know. But obviously the information is just, I don't know how much studying have been actually done except on some things that seem certainty, like the completions, definitely rushing touchdowns matter. But it's crazy. That was a terrible pass by the CPU. It's crazy how I have not got a single lurk in this game. I feel like I haven't got as many lurks lately. I used to lurk a couple times a game, and maybe it's just the CPU logic's gotten a little bit better. But I now feel like, a 1 lurk a game is about. I didn't click on again, another missed opportunity and a sack there, user sack. Again, click on. Mistake by myself, but click on before and you get those user sacks. I was just so focused on them, hoping they would throw it. Maybe they changed the logic a little bit, but usually I get about 1 pick a game. Sometimes I get more, but you see I'm lobbing up. Easy pick, and Deion Sanders dropped the ball. Deion Sanders just dropped the ball. But the good news is we get the ball back, even though that should have been a pick. We get the ball back. We're going to run backwards because that's a terrible... I didn't remember. I have all the yards. There was really no reason to run back. There's really no reason because there's nothing else I need. The only thing I need is 2 points that I know will actually change my score. Now, granted, that's only going to be a difference of 20 points. 48 points is 480. 50 points is 500 on the score bonus. So it's not that big a deal, but I still I should have juked there as well. I still have 2 timeouts, but it doesn't matter if I stay in bounds. It's so frustrating by myself there. Just looking at it. Look at the film. So frustrating. And then 1st and 10. And I don't know what I was doing. I feel like I was a little distracted right there. I just lobbed it up and I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, no. Why when I threw it, I'm like, that's Tyreek Hill. What am I doing? And of course I get punished because the CPU in solo battles will always punish you if you do something wrong because they do not drop anything. They'll give you the perfect animations. You see we get a sack there. We finally got the click on sack. That was much better. And maybe it all worked out because what you'll notice is we don't get the 50, I'll tell you that. But that's a difference of 20 points in our score. We get a user sack there. I believe we get another user sack here. And then we get one more thing at the end. So it's like we get our user score, another user sack. I like how he's blocking JJ, like an option. And he's like, no, I'll go out on my route now. Like, how terrible a blocking is that? You're blocking him. You're the only line of defense right next to the quarterback. And you're like, no, I'm going to go ahead and go out on my route even though JJ Watt is going to kill my quarterback. And you see JJ coming again, and I miss, and he throws it away. But unfortunately, 4th and 30, I don't think 6 seconds is enough to get a playoff unless they kick it out of bounds, which I'm hoping they do because I can definitely score in 1 play because I have Tyreek Hill. If they run cover 2 or man coverage, it's going to be a touchdown because if they run cover 2 man, as you see, I get this juke, so they didn't do that. But if they run cover 2 man, I can just hit Tyreek Hill in the seam because he'll blow by. Or if they run just cover 2 in general, of course, or Tampa 2, I can just hit it down the seam again. Tyreek Hill is super good. But you see our stat line, 24 first downs, almost 500 passing yards, 100 rushing yards, and we look, and only a couple of turnovers. We look back on it, and we're thinking, what could have been? What did we mess up? We didn't get our 50 points, but that's small, 20-point difference, which you'll see we had 480 points instead of 500 for a score bonus. But that's fine. Our user skill bonus, almost 1,400, is still pretty good. So when we look back on it, we're thinking, well, obviously, we're 5th place, so it went well. But if we would have just did some more jukes, did some more spins, and click on better, get those hit sticks, this could have been something well over 25.5. Instead, we're looking at 25,344, which is still, oops, I hit soda can, which is unfortunate that we did not do a little bit better there, but still really, Really good score, I thought, and hopefully a good way of showing you guys exactly how this works. So what you need to focus on, again, in conclusion, pass completions, first downs, maybe I do. Rushing touchdowns, 100 rushing yards I go after, but again, rushing touchdowns on offense. That's first downs, completions, rushing touchdowns. That's really what I focus on. Defensively, mid blitz, get those user sacks, get those, anything user is going to be good for you. I run mid blitz, whatever defense works for you to stop them. 90-man coverage should be really good for you if you're going to run mid blitz. Try to get that. That would be how, if you don't have as good a team, try to get people with 90-man coverage, and you should be able to still have a pretty successful mid blitz scheme, quote unquote. And then, of course, I didn't mention this on offense. Get those jukes, get those fake outs, user scores on kickoffs, on user hit sticks, and maybe on punt returns. You could even fake them out and then go down. That's your call if you want to try to juke them out. I just go backwards and just fall down, but if you want to try to do that, whatever can help your user score, that's something to focus on as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was informative. I hope it was helpful, and you guys are absolutely awesome. Again, good team helps for sure, but if you don't have a good team, you can definitely work around it. And I would recommend still playing the solo battles because they give you great rewards, even for just getting ultimate, which you can get just by playing pretty much and just winning, even if you only want to take 10 minutes to play the game, so instead of 30. So thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely incredible. That's all I got. ChewbaccaLemma out.